This episode of Warp 5 is brought to you by Audible.com, offering more than 180,000 titles for smartphone, tablet, and desktop. To get a free audiobook of your choice and help Trek FM at the same time, visit audibletrial.com/trekfm. And also by Enterprise in Space, an international program of the non-profit National Space Society. Find out how you can help science and education and become a virtual crew member aboard the NSS Enterprise Orbiter by visiting enterpriseinspace.org. And if you want to join in on the conversation and share your thoughts on this episode or any other, please join the Babel Conference, our listeners group on Facebook. Just type Babel, that's B-A-B-E-L, into the Facebook search field. We look forward to seeing you there.
This is Mike Sussman, writer and producer of Star Trek Enterprise, and you're listening to Warp 5 on Trek FM.
How we doing, Trip? Ready when you are. Prepare for warp.
Course laid in, sir. Request permission to get underway. Let's go.
Welcome, Boomers, to another episode of Warp 5. I'm your host, Brandon-Shea Mutala, and tonight we've got a very special episode of Warp 5 for you. But before we tell you all about what we're talking about, we're going to talk a little bit about our co-hosts. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful Patrick Devlin. Patrick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Brandon?
We are very happy to have you here, so I'm in a good mood to have you here, because you were not here last time.
No, I was not. I had a little bit of technical difficulties, but then Black Friday came around and I was able to get another computer, so.
Excellent. And also joining us is Brandi Jackola, wearing her Christmas hair. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm outstanding in my field like a cow. Sorry. I'm so sorry. That was such a dumb joke. I'm so sorry.
I don't know how to answer that.
It's like a dad joke.
It is! That's why! I have to do them because my dad is no longer with us, so I have taken up the mantle of doing dad jokes.
Well, that was a good one. I'm using it.
All right. You totally use it.
I have a good one that Patrick, I'll do to you here, because, pretend you're one of my kids. I do this with my kids, and they think it's funny. So, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Daddy.
Daddy who?
Your daddy!
Okay. Can we say damn on a podcast?
I guess so.
Okay,
Sure.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Madame.
Madame who?
Ow, my damn foot's caught in the door!
There was some swears on a recent primitive culture, so I think we're okay.
I think that one fits, but I just had to, whatever. It's cool.
Well, dad jokes have not all we've been talking about this week on the network, so take a listen to this clip.
Really, that was the shortest Warp 5 of all time.
That's great. I
It's
think
like-
we broke the internet.
Yeah, well, it was like that time when I said that it was the Deaded Enterprise podcast, and that ended our episode really fast.
That
Yes.
one might have had this one by a few seconds, though.
Yeah.
Well, we are having a lot of fun tonight, but we're not here telling bad jokes. But before we get into the discussion, we got a little bit of news here. We might as well get right out of the way. So, life is even crazier than I thought it was going to be. I said last time that we'd be pulling it back down to every other week. I'm going to have to be pulling out of Warp 5 for a little while. I don't know how long, but things are even crazier than I thought they were in my personal life right now. And I'm recording tonight, and I just don't know when I'm going to be able to make a consistent schedule because of the things that I've got going on. Now, I'm not quitting. I'll be back.
We're not letting them.
Yes. They're not letting me quit. Okay, so I've got a contract, and I've got to do at least 6 more movies.
Oh, I thought we were not letting him come back. I thought that's what you mean. So sorry. No, that's not.
No, they are letting me come back. They're making me come back. So
Oh, boy.
Brandy's got pictures of me that she says she'll release if I don't ever come back.
And audio recordings.
Yes, and audio recordings. However, tonight we're not here talking about that, but just so you guys know that Brandi and Patrick will be continuing on. I believe they're going to be doing the every other week for a little while because Discovery is ramping up, and they're both going to be busy as well with The Edge. So it's it's a good time for this to be happening, if ever there was a good time. But for tonight's episode and for tonight's discussion, this is actually inspired by a recent episode of the TrekRanks podcast. Now, Jim Morehouse, who was a guest on the episode when we talked about the Vulcan's Forge arc, he has a podcast called the TrekRanks, and they do, believe it or not, they rank Star Trek in this podcast. And on a recent episode, they did their top 5 episode titles. Well, I like this because I like episode titles, and so I wanted to do top 5 episode titles for Enterprise. So this is in honor of you, good friend Jim, for having such a great topic on TrekRanks. This is all in honor of you. So we dedicate this to you, Enterprise Extra. So we're going to go through. We're going to start. Brandi's just going to go kind of random order because she has problems committing. She has problems with commitment, so she can't commit to a list.
Mm-hmm. No, I did not say that. I just said I wasn't going to put them in a specific order.
I know, you didn't say that. I said
she committed to 5. You actually didn't commit because you have an honorable mention.
Yeah, which you told me was for the week.
And he's
right. Honorable mentions are for the week.
Hypocrite.
Well, remember,
I don't have to tell you what my honorable mention is.
He said,
well,
pretend
good.
he's the dad. Do as I say, not as I do type deal going on
You
here.
got it.
All right.
That's said like a true dad.
Fair enough.
So we're going to start. We're just going to go through, and I fully expect you guys to at least tell me why you think it's a good title. Don't just be like, that's cool. I like that. So you got to give a little bit.
Does it have to be a Star Trek reason why I think it's a good title? Because one of them has nothing to do with anything Star Trek.
That's fine.
Cool.
Okay, so we're going to start with, for us, for Patrick and I, it'll be our number 5 on the list. For Brandi, it'll be
105.
1 of 5. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that could be her Borg name.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah. I'm down with that.
Excellent. Well, just because, we're going to start with our Borg Queen.
All right, then. Well, this is the easiest one for me because it's my favorite episode. So it's the Andorian Incident. It seems like such an innocent title compared to what actually happens in the episode. And it doesn't really give you any clues about what the incident is, which is good. I don't need the title to give stuff away. And, you know, this is the first time we see Andorians in Star Trek Enterprise, and also the first time we see Shran. And Shran, oh, my heart. Shran always will have my heart. So this is, if I had to pick a favorite one, it would be this one because it is my favorite Enterprise episode.
Excellent. Is there any reasons for the title itself?
I just like the way it sounds. It sounds very clinical, like this is how it would be filed on Vulcan. Oh, the Andorian Incident. Yes, cool. We remember the Andorian Incident, and this is what happened. Even though it was this major shift in politics between humans and Vulcans and Andorians. So,
yeah. I will say right now, then I get to say it. So this was my honorable mention. So
weak.
I am weak, but I don't have to because you mentioned it. So that
yes.
It was one that I was really strongly considering. So
yeah.
I agree with you totally. I think the title is great. It's matter of fact. It's to the point. The Andorian Incident. Something happened, and this is what it is, and that's why I like the title. Patrick, what do you think of the title?
I think it's a great title. It got strong consideration. It didn't make an honorable mention because I don't do those, but I did consider it heavily. And like you said, it's the same reason. It's just it doesn't give anything away, but it when you watch the episode, it gives away the whole episode at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Patrick, what's your number 5 choice?
So my number 5 is actually Brandi's fault.
No, sorry.
And it's Stormfront. I mean front.
Stormfront.
I'll go with part 1, so I'm not cheating and picking 2, but whatever.
You can
Either
pick
or
both
makes it.
if you want, because I do have a 2-parter in mind.
Okay, so I'll go with both. But yeah.
And it's just because of the joke?
Yeah, because it's a joke that keeps popping up, but it's not really. We don't really force it in. It just kind of pops up once in a while, and I figured I'll force it in this time.
Excellent.
Yeah, because Brandi can't stop saying the word fart instead of other words sometimes. And I don't know why. I don't know why.
I don't know.
I think the funniest was when you told us you were going to drink a glass of milk, and you're like, I'm going to drink a glass of fart. Like, what?
If only that had happened. No, it's only with words that begin with F. So
instead of Fanta,
yeah, it's now Farta.
Farta.
For Farta.
I was just gonna do that.
Yes. Warp 5, the height of potty humor.
I'm so sorry. Oh,
Why are you sorry? This is all my fault. I could have left this off.
yeah, but somebody would have mentioned it. If not you, it would have been me. Let's be honest.
So that made it on as number 5 because literally this is why I like it, and but it really has no connection to Star Trek. Could have been any show ever. The mistake is what makes it.
Awesome. I did not consider that episode, and yes, it is funny.
I did.
Okay, so my number 5 is Breaking the Ice.
Ah,
Good.
And I really like this title for the. You'll kind of see this as a theme in the titles that I've chosen because it's got a double meaning. You know, you're breaking the ice of the comet, and then he's breaking the ice with the Vulcans, and he's breaking the ice with the Paul.
That's a
Archer's
triple
breaking
meaning.
the ice. So it's a kind of a triple meaning here. So that's really why I chose this episode and put it on my list. And it's one of those episodes that's got a real cool multiple meanings. Once you've seen the episode, it's got more meanings and more depth. So that's why I chose that one. So
Awesome.
what do you guys think of that title?
I like it.
yeah. Go ahead, Patrick.
No, I just like it.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Discuss. Go now.
I think your reasoning is perfect, and I like the episode. Brandi, you.
Yes, that was the one with the snow Vulcan, was it not? So
Yes.
I enjoyed that one because the snow Vulcan is so fun.
So Vulcan is so fun.
Yeah, and I do like episode titles with double meanings as well that mean more than one thing. Even if it doesn't have a Star Trek connection for the other meaning, it's still something clever that people will recognize. So.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Patrick, why don't you give us your number 4?
So my number 4 is Carpenter Street.
Ooh.
And basically for the same reason you just said, it has a double meaning. They're on Carpenter Street, and there's a lot of references to John Carpenter through the episode.
Okay, yeah. I was considering this one, but it didn't make my list because to me it was just too narrowed down, and it was like just based on the one reference of like where they were, and I do know the references outside of it as well, but it just was too focused in the episode for me. To
Okay.
make my list.
I liked it.
Brandi, what do you think?
I liked it a lot. I liked the title, and because I am a John Carpenter fan, I did get that second meaning as well. Also, it's fun to think of Jeffrey Dean Morgan in that reptilian Xindi suit. So you don't really ever get a good look at him, but you can definitely recognize the voice. So,
Excellent.
but yeah, I think I like the title for the same reasons that Patrick does.
What's your number 4 choice, Brandi?
Well, my next choice, number 2 of 5, in no particular order, I'm gonna steal one of your things, probably. Fortunate Son.
Fortunate Son.
Yes, because it makes me think of the song, but it also
me too.
means something on the episode. So it's a really difficult episode, and not in a bad way. It's just difficult because of what Travis has to face up to about boomers doing something really not okay. Because torture is never okay, no matter who the person is, or alien, or what have you. But anyway, so, and their ship is literally called the Fortunate. So, and, yeah, and this, Captain Keen's son has to take over, so they're the Fortunate Son. The meaning there, which you probably already know.
I do. So
you've
this is a
seen the
season 1
episode.
episode, right?
It is a season 1 episode.
Yeah, this one didn't make my list, but I see exactly what you're saying for the multiple meanings. And yes, every time I see that title, I think of the Creedence Clearwater Revival song.
It ain't me.
It
It
ain't
ain't me.
I ain't no fortunate son.
I love that song.
It's a great song.
It is.
It's also a great title, but
Yes.
it is a great song. And I agree with both of you.
Excellent. Okay, so my next one is another season 1. We got a lot of season 1 in this one here, and I got a couple more coming along. Shadows of Pajamas.
Ah, yeah.
Shadows in Pajamas.
Shadows in Pajamas, yes.
Their
The
shadows
reason I chose
in
this...
pajamas are coming down in the stairs.
I'm sorry, that was all my fault.
The reason I chose this one over the Andorian incident is because I think it's got a cooler meaning, because the Shadows of Pajamas, you know, this Pajamas being this large incident that happened, the Andorian incident, because of what occurred, cast this long shadow. And these are the things that are, because of that long shadow, this is what's occurring. You know, so I really like that hidden meaning of the message. So I think it really fits really well, and I think it's really cool, and that's why it made my list.
Yeah. Excellent. That was actually one of the ones I considered. Mm-hmm. But I didn't.
Would you
do
say it was an
mentions.
honorable mention?
No, I didn't do honorable mentions. I simply considered it.
Okay. My next one, I've got another for my third choice here as the soup round, as they call it over on TrekRanks. I chose Fusion for season 1.
I knew you would do that.
And I really like the title of this episode because, again, there's so many deep meanings to this episode. Like fusion, when I hear that word, I think of like a nuclear reaction, you know, and there's so much, it's so volatile. This episode is such a volatile episode, and there's so many crazy things going on. But not only that, we've got this jazz fusion music that's like signifying in the episode. And, you know, jazz is kind of used to convey, like, confusion and stuff sometimes. Like, I've tried to like jazz, but I just can't. You know, like, this kind of jazz music, I've tried so hard. I've tried to listen to
I'm a New Orleans
Miles
jazz
Davis.
girl all the way, so.
Yeah. But I like that subtext as well with the jazz fusion music that's in here. So, again, you've got these really interesting multiple meanings for the episode title once you know the episode a little bit better. So that's why Fusion made it on my list.
Fantastic.
Patrick, tell us your number 3.
Okay, so this is going to confuse a lot of people. My number 3, I'll give you a hint, comes from a third episode of a certain season, and it's my most hated episode ever.
Really?
Ooh.
You chose Extinction?
I love the name.
Really?
I hate the episode. It's just such a name. Like, I really don't have a logical good reason to like this name when you tie it to the episode, but just like all this episode title needs is an exclamation point after the word extinction, and it's the perfect episode title of all times.
I think 2 exclamation points would make it even more perfect.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, fine, we'll go with 2, but that's all it needs, and it would be the most perfect episode ever. About the only thing I like about this entire episode is its name, and that it's directed by LeVar Burton, which I don't like because now I have to be mad at LeVar Burton.
No, you have to be mad at the restrictions LeVar Burton had to work with.
Thank you for fixing that for me.
You're welcome! I'm here for you, for helping.
But I love the name of the app. I really do. It's just, if you were to just read, oh, wow, the next episode is Extinction, and then you got that episode, you'd be majorly let down, too.
I love it. Excellent. Brandi, take it away. What's your soup round pick?
My next pick is The Forge.
Ooh, The Forge.
I love the title because it brings many things to mind, because there are many ways of forging. But in the case of being related to the episode, the Forge refers to this area on Vulcan where people go to basically find themselves, where Vulcans go to test themselves, because it is extremely hot, it is unforgiving, and, you know, maybe it forges better Vulcans, maybe it forges higher understanding, but also in the old sense of the word forge, like forging weapons and armor, that is done in extreme heat, like the Vulcan desert, the Forge. So it has a double meaning-ish. And I just also really love the episode. I love the whole trilogy, but I really love the episode of The Forge.
What if it was called Geordie LaForge?
Then I would smack somebody for doing that.
And we're back to LeVar.
Back to
Yep.
LeVar.
One more instance, and it is no longer a coincidence, but a pattern.
Well, I don't think that they're really forging anything. I think it's all holograms that shouldn't be there anyways?
This again. Hey, I've already admitted that it doesn't make any sense, and I don't care because I like the episode.
Okay, my next pick is E squared. I can't help it. I love that title. I love E squared, and when you first see that title, you're like, what does that mean? And then when you see another Enterprise show up that is the same ship but from the future, you're like, oh. So I actually enjoy the episode. I find it interesting, and I like the mystery of the title. E squared could mean so many things, so it doesn't really give you a clue of what you're in for, and I kind of like that mystery.
Yeah, I like it too. I think it's a cool title. Not only that, but it is also the shortest episode title in all of Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, by a half a character, because Q2 has a full 2, and this has like a superscript 2.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too, for the same reasons you, but also because we have an Enter Cubed epised we wrote, so
yes,
kind of help things out a bit.
So Enter Squared, Enter Cubed. We got to. Oh man, I can't wait till we get Enter Ford.
LaForge.
Ford.
There we go. Now it's a pattern.
Yep. Okay.
Patrick, what's your number 2?
So my number 2. Again, my theme is more like powerful titles, not necessarily the double meanings. I really like Sleeping Dogs as a title for an episode. Simply because...
It's a garbage episode.
Yeah, well, so is Extinction. So, I mean...
He's not letting that affect his title judgment.
Correct. I can separate. It is a garbage episode, which is why this has no ties to the episode at all. But you don't want to wake a sleeping dog, and I just love that saying. And this episode reminds me of that saying.
See, the saying is more "let a sleeping dog lie."
Well, yeah, or "don't wake a sleeping dog."
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, I've just already heard. I've just always heard "let sleeping dogs lie."
Guess it's a New York thing. You do realize "let a sleeping dog lie" is the same thing as "don't wake a sleeping dog," right?
Yeah, but it's
okay.
It has more poetry to it than "don't wake up a dog."
Well, but see how you just said it? New York.
Yeah, it was pretty great, actually. Don't wake up a dog. What's the matter with you?
Well, sleeping dog. You got to add sleeping in there.
Yeah, you're right. It is the same thing. But Romeo, Romeo, wherefore out that Romeo is better than Yo Romeo, sup?
I guess you never saw the Leonardo DiCaprio version, huh?
No, I didn't.
Lucky you.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm not
horrible.
the biggest Baz Luhrmann fan.
I love everything Shakespeare except for that version.
Did you watch Orson Welles' Othello?
Yes.
Where Orson Welles is Othello?
I take it you didn't care for that one.
You know what? I try and like Shakespeare, and I like it as much as I like jazz. Let's go with my number 2 choice here. Observer Effect.
I knew you were going to pick that too.
Not just because it's my favorite episode, but because the title is just so cool, and that's all. I have no justification. You know, there's not really any double meaning. You know, you're just watching the observers. You're watching them observe the situation, and this is I guess it is meaning. You know, that's the effect that observing has on them, right? On the observers. So I think the title is really cool. I'm just glad that it's not called Organian Effect.
That would have given it away.
Yeah, it would have totally buried the lead if they would have called it the Organian Effect.
Okay. I'm actually quite surprised that we haven't had any duplicates yet. This is actually kind of amazing.
You sort of did because you had an honorable mention.
Right. But, oh well. Deal with it. So my first choice, my number 1 choice, is a 2-parter, and it crosses 2 seasons, and I choose Shockwave.
Yeah.
And I choose Shockwave again because of the multiple meanings of, what actually happens at the beginning of the first episode, but then also the shockwaves of the impact of removing Archer from the timeline and how it sends shockwaves throughout time to completely change everything because he's not there. So I love the duplicate meaning in that as well. And so that's why it definitely had to be my number 1 pick, because I think the title Impact with Archer has the most impact on the episode, and it's important.
Yes.
I
Right, so that's
honestly
what I chose.
wish I was smart enough to figure that out myself. I just didn't even think of it.
It's okay. Let sleeping dogs eat their bananas.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, that makes me think now. Bananas in pajamas.
And a banana
Going
shake.
down the stairs.
Yep. They're coming down in pairs.
Bananas in pajama?
No, that was shadows in pajamas.
So bananas in pajama.
Yep.
Bananas in pajamas.
Sorry. I worked at a toy store for 3 years, and I heard
Pajamming.
that theme song so many times.
They're pajaming. It's like dabbing, but the other way.
Do you see that tweet the other day? What's her name? I can't remember her name. She used to work for Paramount or whatever. I can't remember. Holly Amos. I think it was. Maybe it was one of the comic book people. I can't remember. I follow so many people on Twitter. And they're like, next comic book crossover. And it was the Gem Hadar, but it was like Gem, like that 80s show.
Yes! Yes, I would
didn't see
watch
that.
The
Yes!
Gem Hadar.
Yes! Because
I
Gem
don't know
is
who
truly
tweeted it.
outrageous.
I can't remember who tweeted it. They know. I'm sure they're listening because we have millions of listeners on Warfare.
Oh, yes.
Totally.
Huge circulation.
Absolutely.
Okay, next, number one, Patrick. What is your number one choice?
My number one is Detained.
Ooh,
I love the
considered
name.
that one.
I consider
Yeah,
that
I
one
love
too.
that name. I love the episode that follows it. I like that if you're a Scott Bakula fan and you've watched Quantum Leap, you understand who's detaining who here. And that at one point Al is holding something. Well, he's not Al here, and he's punching into a keyboard as if he was still Al.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely influenced the fact that this would have been on the list, but the fact that that's what's going on jumped this all the way to number one.
Yeah.
Excellent. Brandy, what's your number one?
My final choice, that was in no particular order.
It's her number one.
Yeah, shut up.
It is now. The chapters are just going to read 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, fine. Then you guys guess what it is.
Aww.
Just
Vox
kidding.
Solar.
No, but
All right,
that's,
I'll go to the next one.
that's a good one.
Fallen Hero.
Nope.
The seventh.
Please stop.
Desert Crossing. Eventually, we got to hit it.
No, you're going to have to go a really long way because
All right,
it
let's
is...
start from season 4.
These are the voyages.
Nope. Demons.
Demons.
Oh, nice.
Demons.
See, if we tortured
Okay.
her enough, she was going to tell us. She didn't want to
Yeah.
hear our voices that long.
Yeah, basically, this one has, well, obviously everybody knows what a demon is, but it has, for me, 2 different meanings in the episode, because in the eyes of the Terra Prime people, the demon is this hybrid child that they created. But in the eyes of everyone who has, a sense of reason and compassion, Terra Prime is the demon. So, yeah, it's a twofold thing, both in the episode for me, because it's basically people fighting against what they believe is the demon. But in this case, anyone who is trying to take the rights away of another living being, no matter what alien or human race they are, then you're in the wrong, because rights are not a finite resource.
Cool.
Awesome.
I like that. That's an interesting way to determine the episode. I never would have thought of that because, the title of the episode didn't resonate like that for me. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's immediate. When I started watching the episode, I'm like, oh, I see why this is called Demons. So it's just, yeah. And it's also very prescient of what's going on today in the world. So, yeah.
Excellent. Right on. Patrick, did you want to list us with your list?
Sure, I will relist you. Is that like reseeding the grass?
Yes.
Okay. So, I went in order from 5 to 1, and 5 was Stormfront Part 1 and 2. 4 was Carpenter Street. 3 was Extinction. Oh, boy. The next 2 was Sleeping Dogs, and number 1 was Detained.
Brandy, did you want to give us a recap of your list?
Yes, in no particular order. There was the Andorian Incident, Fortunate Son,
4.
The Forge,
Number 3.
E Squared,
Number 2.
and Demons.
Number 1. Your number 2 has a 2 in it.
It was not planned that way because they are in no particular order.
Happy coincidence.
Happy coincidence. My number 5 choice was Breaking the Ice. Number 4, Shadows of Pajamas. Number 3, Fusion. Number 2, Observer Effect. And number 1, Shockwave Parts 1 and 2. And then a quick recap just to see. I'm actually quite surprised with this. We had 17 choices total because we had 2 two-parters. Right? 8 from season 1. 1 from season 2. 3 from season 3 and 4 from season 4. So I'm actually kind of surprised that we had so many from season 1.
And no crossover.
Yeah.
And no duplicates.
That's crazy.
I am really surprised with that. So that's pretty cool. That was a good list. I think this was a fun little episode. Thank you so much, Jim Morehouse, for the cool idea on TrekRanks. And we completely stole this idea from you.
Yes.
Homage.
I didn't have anything to do with this. So, be mad at Brandon.
It's all Patrick. Sue Patrick.
No.
I didn't say that. I just said be mad.
No, I'll be your lightning rod of hate. It was me. It was all me.
I was just trying to bury Brandon.
Excellent. Well, talking about our favorite titles for Enterprise episode is not the only thing we've been discussing here on the network this week. So please take a listen to this clip and see what else you may have missed elsewhere on E Squared, Stormfart, Bananas and Pajamas FM.
He didn't even get Trek FM in there.
Not even a little.
I said FM.
Previously on Trek.fm, the 602 Club.
But it's the moment, literally the moment that Halle Berry opens her mouth, that the dialogue in this film goes completely south. Because every single thing that she and Bond say from that point is a pun to each other.
Yeah.
Earl Grey.
I do wonder if a bunch of them were holographic, because we know part of that room is holographic, but at the same time...
Bruce can't believe we're talking about holographic cats. Is that
holographic cats. There's a holographic iguana in Voyager. But my other theory, of course, is he has so many cats at this time because if you take my earlier theory about there being multiple spots, Data doesn't have a lot of luck with cats, so he's just, he's got like 10 of them because...
So wait, are you saying that all the cats in his Cambridge place are all named Spot?
Well, I am now.
He's like, Jordy, welcome to my place. Oh, don't sit on Spot. Oh, and Spot's over there on the mantle. Oh, and there's another Spot over there. My place is filled with spots.
Data's cats are like the Q. It's just the Spot continuum. They're all called Spot.
The Edge, a Star Trek Discovery podcast.
And I decided every week for the rest of the run of Discovery, I would dedicate myself to not only that show, but also to giving back to the fans to some extent in any way I could with these episode posters.
Warp 5.
Okay, so Frankenstein kills a couple people. Right? Kills an old man, kills an old woman, scares a bunch of people, goes on the run, scares some girl guides. Right?
Yeah, some Girl Scout guides, yep.
Girl Scout guides, takes her cookies.
Yeah.
And that's what else is happening on Trek.fm.
Check out all of these shows and join the conversation about your favorite corner of the Star Trek universe and beyond. You will find us in many, many places, basically wherever you get your podcasts. If you use the Apples, be sure to hit the subscribe button in Apple Podcasts on iPhone, iPad, or Apple TV, or the desktop iTunes app, and get the latest episodes as soon as they are published. And please, pretty please leave us a star rating and written review. We really haven't had one in a long time. So please, if you're not an Apple user, we got your back, boo! You can find our shows on Google Play Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Windows Phone, and most third-party apps, and you can stream and download the MP3 file from our website or grab that RSS link.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's show, and there are many ways for you to do that. The best place is to join the larger conversation in the Babel Conference, our listeners group on Facky Book. Just type Babel, B A B.
You stuck with that so much longer than I expected.
The search field on Facebook, and it just come right up. If you'd like to send us an email, you can use the form on our website at trek.fm/contact. Choose to send to a show and select Warp 5. That will come right to us. You can also find the network on Twitter at TrekFM and on Facebook at facebook.com/TrekFM. Patrick, where can people find you when you're not letting dogs eat bananas?
Well, when I'm not letting my dogs eat bananas, you can find me at on Twitter, and that's Magic Drop 5. It is one word with 5 being a digit, and you can find me popping up here and there on the Babel Conference when I get a chance. I've been pretty busy, so it hasn't been much lately, but I do try and pop in there every so often. And, of course, you can find me elsewhere on the network with my buddy Amy on The Edge, which will be ramping up soon when the when the next season of Discovery comes out. So, Brandon, when you're not being Brandon in pajamas coming down the stairs, where can people find you?
It's bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. It's bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. You can find me on Twitter at Brandon-Shea. You can find me here on the network with Melodic Treks, which is all about the music of Star Trek. You can find me over on what? What?
The fact that you were able to go from bananas to straight-faced talking was great.
You can find me over on the Fandom Podcast Network and in our own independent feed with Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast, which is all about Alfred Hitchcock films, believe it or not. And I do that with my friends Chris and Tom. Brandi, where can people find you when you're not listening to jazz music?
No, I don't listen to all jazz. Just New Orleans jazz does it for me. You can find me on Twitter at Brandywine12. You can find me lurking in the Babel Conference. You can find me on Live from the Edge with Bruce Gibson. On December 6th, we will be having our next Short Treks episode. So tune in for that at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And also, actually, this episode will probably come out after that, so never mind. And also, I do a podcast with my magnificent husband, Dave, called the Dark Corner Podcast at darkcornerpodcast.com. There are swears.
If you'd like to help us keep all our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/TrekFM. That's patreon.com/TrekFM to get all the details. Perks include early access to episodes, exclusive content, producer credits, and more. Available through our special patrons website, Patron Zone. It requires a great deal of money to produce, host, and distribute these shows each month. We really appreciate any support you can give us and hope you'll join the team. Again, you'll find all the details at patreon.com/TrekFM.
And we have some wonderful associate producers here on Warp 5, and all of
Jazz
them are
hands.
bananas.
Sorry.
Jazz hands. All of them are bananas. We've got Banana 1, Norma C. Lau. Banana 2, Floyd Dorsey. Banana 3, Mike Morrison. Banana 4, Tim Cooper. Pineapple, Justin Ozer.
Then they're not all bananas.
Justin's a pineapple. I lost count now. I can't count to 5. Banana 5, Mark Flessa. Banana 6, Chris Tribuzio. And Jim McMahon, banana number 7.
The important banana.
The important banana. Well, I guess that's all we got for tonight. I'll talk to you guys again as soon as I can. I know I'm going to be back for the Son of Frankenstein episode, which will be out in a couple of episodes. But I got to kind of take care of me right now, and I got to do a bunch of things, so things are really rough right now. It's been a lot of fun. I'm not quitting. I'll be back. But until next time, keep calm and boom on.
Where's that Floyd guy? Maybe we can get him around again.
I am. Okay. I'm gonna give my computer the clap.
Why didn't you get it vaccinated?
Are you an anti-vaxxer? Sorry. I'm just so bad tonight.
That could be the stinger.
I'm sure that can't make the final edit.
Yes, because Brandi gave us the forge. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to round 2.
Whose turn is it? Brandon, you're about to ask one of us
round
which
2? Should we go with
episode we like
Brandi?
next.